So where does R come from? It was actually has a long and history. It's not just something that appeared one day. It started in 1976 at Bell Labs where they were developing a statistical package called S. And then in about 1992, it caught the attention of Ross Haka and Robert Gentleman in the University of Auckland in New Zealand, who spent a couple of years developing a open source variant or dialect of S called R, which was both a play on the name S and also the first letters of their first names. And they open sourced this and introduced it to the world in 1995, and it's currently being maintained by what's called the R development core teams. This is a real widely distributed open source project. I think Gentleman is still on the R team, but it is heavily supported by data scientists, particularly in the academic community around the world. And like I said, it's a dialect of S, so most S applications will run in it. S is a proprietary language. R is open source. But again, I come back to the idea that part of the architecture of R is to allow an easy scripting interface, but have the heavy lifting done by compiled C, Fortran, and C++ libraries to optimize for speed. There's also parts of R that are actually written in R as well. When we take a look at where R is in the programming space, when we start to look at data scientists, now if you put R up against all the programming languages that are out there, it doesn't look it doesn't really cut, I think even now, cut the top 20, because you've got, you know, JavaScript and C and Go and Rust and C++ and all of the Java and all of the other ones out there. But when we focus the question on, so if you're doing data analysis and data mining, what is the language as your go-to language? And you can see here that R is actually is the most popular one for data analysis. As Python and R are pretty much nowadays sort of neck and neck. They are the two go-to choices, and most of these other ones tend to fall apart. Python's actually increased a little bit since with this survey was done. So when we actually look at popularity of R and we confine it to the data analytics world, we tend to see that R definitely is maintaining its own. This is a log scale, so it's giving us a little bit of a linear estimate of some exponential growth, and you can see that SPSS is trending down a little bit as we get into 2015, and R is continuing to grow along with some of the other tools itself. And this is in terms of the number of scholarly articles. Now, one of the reasons why those scholarly articles are citing R is, again, because it's the ability to share reproducible results, which is actually quite important when we're proposing various kinds of statistical analysis and modeling.